Hola, bon dia. Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal live stream YouTube channel and podcast. Good morning to you this morning. I've got a great guest lined up for you. It's Chris Storey from Sea Shepherd. Really exciting organisation doing great work in the oceans, in the Atlantic, just next door to us. Actually all over the world as an organisation I was just discovering. So really looking forward to talking to Chris. Some good news, I would say, in amongst quite uncertain and challenging times and all the bad news we hear. So really looking forward to talking to Chris. Get your questions into him when you find out what he's all about, and that will be at seashepherd.pt if you want to have a quick look. But don't do it on this tab. Start another tab. Stay with us here on Good Morning Portugal and just have a quick look at the weather before we talk to Chris, and a quick scan around the world. Raining here where I was overnight. A bit of a miserable and grey start to the day, but needed for the garden and the ducks, of course. And we had a fantastic, while I'm waiting for the weather to load, we had the most amazing wine club last night after the expatsportugal.com social. The social was wonderful. I don't know if Chris will have something to say about this, but the Portuguese apparently eat the largest amount per head of seafood among Europeans. 50, if I remember right, 57 kilos a person. I think that includes fish as well, but that was quite a surprise. Another one of Jerry's fantastic quizzes. Join us again for the social, probably once a month now, with expatsportugal.com. And then the Clockwork Orange wine. Have you ever had orange wine? It's extraordinary. The hiccuping headmistress Healy, our principal wine taster, took us through that. What a delight from the Alentejo, from an amazing winemaker, Antonio. Let me get this right. Massanita, I think. Antonio, anyway, originally from the Azores, winemaking genius. And trying orange wine for the first time was fantastic last night. Anyway, Lisbon, 19 degrees and rainy at the moment, rising to 21. And a day of rain, it would look like a slightly cloudy but sunny weekend. So the rain will clear today in the capital. In Porto, possible light rain and 15 degrees today. It's currently raining. 16 degrees to look forward to, 17 and 19, and actually 5 days of rain in the north. So a bit soggy in Porto for the next few days. Coimbra, oh, I shouldn't be laughing at Porto. Couple of rainy days here as well. That's the weather pattern we get here. Good Morning Portugal. 16 degrees today and light possible rain, actual rain I can see out of my window, and a couple of days. Cloudy tomorrow, Saturday, but brightening up, cloudy but sunny on Sunday. And finally in Faro, 19 degrees and overcast at the moment, cloudy there. Some rain today possibly, but a better weekend, cloudy and sunny over the weekend. Oh, and before I forget, look, I've had a present given to me. A landlady Grasser. If I do this, look, I can have a Barcelo cockerel both sides. Look at that. She made this for me. That's a hand-painted Barcelo cockerel. Look at that, individually made for me with Carl on it. How amazing. Okay, let's talk to Chris now. Chris Storey, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Carl. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. I meet so many great people. Just you see something on social media and you think, I've got to speak to that person. And you've been a real sport. I just sent you a message out of the blue. Would you talk to us on Good Morning Portugal? You said yes, so here you are. So thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Where are you? You look like a bit of an international man of mystery, silhouetted against the window there. Where do we find you in Portugal this morning?
People walking by in the background. I'm actually in Padaria Portuguesa in Telheiras, Lisbon. On my way to Sesimbra. So I'm on the road these next couple of, well, I'm quite often on the road. We do have an office here in Lisbon, but I'm quite traveling around mainly this region. So Lisbon, Sesimbra, Setúbal, and so on. Oh,
lovely part of the world. Sesimbra is beautiful, little seaside town, isn't it?
It's a beautiful town. It is. It is great for diving. Quite similar to Algarve in that way of, beach and nice climate and quite green as well. Yeah. I love it. I do.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not a Portuguese accent you have there. What sort of expat are you and how long have you been in Portugal?
Yeah, so you could probably tell from the accent. I'm originally from Liverpool. I left Liverpool around 16, joined the British Army. Spent a couple of years in the Army, in the Irish Guards. And my sister moved to Algarve, Albufeira, as a singer. Like a redcoat in Club Praia de Ora in Ora region there. And then my family came out, rented a bar, and then I followed suit after the army. It was either Liverpool or Algarve, and it was quite an easy choice. And yeah, I've been here ever since. That was, 2000 exactly. Yeah, 2000. So 20 years to this year.
Fair to say that you like Portugal.
I do. I love it. I do. I was in the Algarve for around 12 years. So I've been in Lisbon for 8, if that makes sense. And yeah, I love both. I love all the cities, actually. They're very diverse, right? Portugal is from north to south, or south to north, is super diverse in the regions, and the landscapes, even the people and the food. It reminds me a little bit of New Zealand. I spent some time there as well. And the diversity is awesome, and you can really have best of all kinds of worlds as you go through the country.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it? So thank you for setting the scene there. You personally, your organisation, Sea Shepherd. Could you tell us about that? It looks like you're doing amazing work. I'll screen share as well the website. But yeah, could you give us a brief introduction to the organisation? Because I understand it's global in essence.
That's correct. Yeah. So Sea Shepherd was actually formed in 1978, if I'm correct, from Captain Paul Watson. He was the original co-founder of Greenpeace, and there was some. He wanted to take more action. So Sea Shepherd is a direct action conservation group, meaning that we take direct action. We don't stand there with banners saying "Stop the killing" and so on. We actually have now 12 vessels, different types of boats that go all around the world. We're known for stopping the whaling in the Antarctica. So we were actually quite famous on Whale Wars on Animal Channel. A really cool documentary about us stopping the Japanese killing whales. And then throughout the years, we stopped the sea lion killing. And we now currently have chapters in over 20 different countries, Portugal being one of the newest. Quite famous, let's say, or bigger chapters would be the UK, Germany, France, Italy, Australia, and US, the usual suspects. But Spain also actually has quite a huge chapter as well. Our current campaigns are more, so the whaling, we were very successful. We actually stopped the whaling in the Antarctica. And nowadays it's very rare to see whaling boats, especially with the pandemic, but also because of our actions. Yeah, we were successful there. But currently we're doing campaigns, IUU, illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing. So stopping illegal fishing, poaching, and so on in Africa. The local governments and navies are actually using our vessels. We're kind of known as the world's largest private navy, if you like. Literally, we but we give our vessels with our crew to the local navies in Gambia and all different countries throughout Africa. We've made 50 arrests so far over the last 2 or 3 years. And then there's a lot of campaigns. So in France, there's a huge bycatch campaign where dolphins and marine life are getting caught in fish nets. 6,000 dolphins die a year from being stranded onto shore in France, UK, and these numbers are getting significantly higher. Actually, in Portugal, we're reporting 1 or 2 stranded marine lives daily, really? All around the coast. Yeah, dolphins. That's mainly dolphins and whales as well. So that's excluding, birds, turtles, but mainly, and sharks as well. But mainly dolphins. We have an icon or a button you can look into. Forgive me, early in the morning. On our website here called Strandings. It's called Sentinella Campaign.
Oh, this is the one, yeah.
Exactly. And so people here can report the stranded life that they find. Most of the time, these animals are dead, so they've been strangulated, mutilated from nets. Which is just, a lot of people don't know this, and this is one of the things that we need to push and make the general public aware of what's happening worldwide, but also on our shores here in Portugal.
Yeah, and obviously what they can do about it. Well, that's amazing. That's amazing, Chris. I was going to say it's nice to feature some good news. It's kind of the good news about the bad news, I suppose, that you are making a positive response to this. Like, you blow my mind there with the amount of issues that you're dealing with. And I made a sort of a comment in passing a few weeks back about when I was a teenager, I walked to save the whales, because you mentioned Greenpeace there, and this is a spin-off or a fork from Greenpeace. At that time, I walked, I think, around Regent's Park on a sponsored walk, 15 miles. I thought it was an amazing achievement. And the campaign at the time was Save the Whale. We clearly haven't done that yet.
No, it's so much better than it was even, you know, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Thanks to Sea Shepherd, I'm not being biased, but also other initiatives as well. It wasn't just us, but we were the ones. We're known, if you get a chance to watch Whale Wars, a lot of people didn't like our actions because we would put our vessel in between the other vessels, with even sometimes ram vessels, to stop them from killing the whales. So we had a bit of a reputation of being a little bit, how can I say, boisterous or a little bit rebel. Of course, we've changed with the times. So, you know, we've had to change and become more, I wouldn't say corporate at all, but more organized as a conservation movement. And that's exactly what we are. We're not a company or an organization. We're actually a movement. And this also makes it very hard for people to shut us down, because, you know, they tried to shut down our founder, Captain Paul Watson. Interpol blocked him from going to countries and so on, because the Japanese were really on his case, so to speak. But they couldn't stop us because we're a movement. So we're literally in every country almost that you could imagine. And people were so passionate. And all volunteers, I'd like to add. So, of course, Sea Shepherd do have some paid members on the global issues for captains, you know, manning the boats and so on. But in these chapters, like myself, this is all voluntary. Yeah, and so this is all from passion and wanting to make a difference for the oceans.
That's amazing. Yeah, I want to thank you, you know, on behalf of the whole Good Morning Portugal community, expats in Portugal, for doing this and, you know, bringing attention to this and then actually doing something about it there. Incredible. I think we've got some questions coming in. I just got to say a few hellos, a bit slow on the hellos this morning, so apologies, everybody. But Paul saying, hola, bon dia, just back from the Man Cave. We launched a new show last week, the Expat Man Cave. It's a place for fellas to gather, average age 50. It's quite popular. You wouldn't believe it. Checking to see if I have enough wood to build an ark. Storm Alex is on the way to the UK by the sound of it, if it's not there already. I'll link to someone. I think that's Victoria. Good morning to you. Wanting to bring someone else's attention to what you're talking about there. Bon dia, Carl from a grey and miserable Manchester. Claire and Steve. Eloise is here as well. Bon dia, Carl and listeners. Penny in the UK, pouring with rain and blowing a gale there in Devon. Yes, it seems to be how it is in Western Europe right now. Bon dia, missing the wine club, but the liver is thanking me. It will do. Really enjoying all the informative peeps joining you this week. I'm sure that includes you, Chris, as well. Bon dia all. Padaria Portuguesa would be a great place to be working. So Nuno approves of your location this morning there, Chris. Nice cup of coffee?
They do a great cup of coffee, actually. I actually like it here.
It's a great cafe. I've been to one or two of those in Lisbon. Bon dia, Carl and Chris from a chilly Wiesbaden, Germany. Jim, I think it may well be your birthday today, so parabéns to you. Gary Agavo, Chris, we are looking for someone to balance the scales in the football conversation or conversion, as we have far too much Manchester. Who is your team if you have one? The questions have begun. Probably not quite what you're expecting.
That's a good one. Naturally, being from Liverpool, there's only one team in Liverpool, right? No, just joking. I'm an avid Liverpool fan, of course. But, I have respect for Everton, of course.
Well said.
Especially since moving away. So, and they're doing well. They're doing well. So I'm happy to see them doing well.
Yeah, brilliant. It gives you a different perspective, doesn't it, when you're overseas looking at back home at the football. Like a serious question for you now. Can you give an opinion on sonar and military effects on sea life?
Yeah, so military background and looking into it, I'm no expert, but for sure it's not good for the ocean without a shadow of a doubt. If you look at the strandings of whales, killer whales recently, I think a couple of days ago, a huge pod of killer whales stranded onto Australian shores, all died. All died. Yeah. They tried their best to save them, but they couldn't. Yeah. Especially with killer whales, you know, it's so big to have immediate reaction or action to get them into the water. We're using cranes and so on. Is impossible to save them. Yeah, it's definitely giving an effect, especially when they're doing testing. Actually, one of Sea Shepherd's first campaigns was in Antarctica or somewhere just before we started the whaling. It's kind of one of Greenpeace's first actions as well. They went to some island to stop nuclear testing and put this little vessel that they had. It was a tiny little vessel, like a sailing boat almost, and tried to stop the military from doing nuclear testing there. But sonar and so on, yeah, there needs to be more, of course, more research into it. But it obviously puts the sonars of the whales and all mammals out of sync, and it's definitely a bad thing.
All right. So yeah, a bad thing, but good to know about, and we'll find out more how people can help you directly and support you, and maybe what people can do in their own right as well. Because I think people do feel like they want to be part of this movement that you speak of, to make things better for the humans and all the animals and nature and the seas, of course. Chris, good work from Steve and Claire in Manchester. And Doug says it's nice to hear that Wales is being protected. Not that Wales, Doug. You may have heard that before, of course, Chris. Chris, Wales Wars was amazing. Great effort to you all. Will, a fellow activist who is bigging you up this morning. Chris, we had a dead seal on our beach during lockdown. This is over in the UK, in Teignmouth, I believe. A man, I'm guessing anyway, a man removed its head. Not sure he was located, but why would they do that? Do you have any idea what that would be?
Just some sick individuals. So the problem is with a lot of in France, we've had dolphins with engraved into them FU Sea Shepherd. Literally, someone's took a knife and engraved into a dead body. Yeah. A lot of fishermen. I have nothing against fishermen. I've worked as a scuba diving instructor for years as well, and worked with the local fishermen near Amansal de Pera. They think often that the dolphins and the seals take their fish, and so they actually just kill them. There's been talks of even people eating dolphin as well. It's a very, very touchy subject. There's been a lot of debates and police involved on mutilation of stranded animals as well. It's sickening.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we don't know there, Sonny, but it looks like the sort of weird stuff some humans do, right? Your view, again, from Sonny, on toxic dump sites. Most of them are owned by the Crown Estates. The MMO, I'm not sure what that is, Sonny, maybe you could let us know, seem to continue to allow toxic waste to be dumped to sea. This is quite a big problem, isn't it? That out of sight, out of mind for most human beings, right?
Really well said. There's nothing we can do about it. Of course, we can put campaigns out. Our main campaigns and focus is on saving the marine life, which ultimately saves human life. Because if the oceans die, we die. The smallest things in the ocean, phytoplankton, which is a very small plankton, takes in carbon dioxide, gives out oxygen. Every second breath that we take as humans is actually from the ocean. People think it's from the Amazon, but it's actually from the ocean.
Wow.
Scientific, it's fact. It's so if our oceans die, let's say we wipe out all the marine life, then it'll just cause a whole knock-on effect. We'll have storms, we'll have floods, we'll basically just perish. Sorry to be straight to the point, but that's what it is. Toxic dump sites is just, it's happening everywhere. It's so hard to control. The only thing we can do is make people aware. Of course, toxic dump sites is not much that the average public can do, but they could, speak to their local councils, make debates over what's going on. But it all should ultimately come from us, from home, and about our waste as well, because a lot of our waste is going to landfill, which then also, affects the ocean and the climate with carbon dioxide and so on, burning things and so on. So it's a real knock-on effect. But yeah, to answer your question, it's very difficult to really address, but it's happening everywhere.
And I suppose, given that we're in the age where more and more people are talking about taking personal responsibility rather than asking others to do that, whether they be governments or other individuals, managing your own waste, I guess, will be one quite simple thing to do, and not produce so much of the blooming stuff.
Totally. Like I always say to people, use the 3 Ps, or what should go in your toilet. The 3 Ps: pee, poop, and paper. Because doing beach cleanups, one of our upcoming campaigns in Portugal is to clean literally from north to south. So we've now got over 200 applications to work with us, and we already have around 50. So we're going to start doing beach cleanups literally all over.
Fantastic.
But when we do these, we find mainly cotton buds, sanitary towels, and so on and so on. So a lot of waste is going through the toilet, which kind of comes back to the toxic waste, where a lot of our stuff that goes in the toilet is being pumped out to sea.
Yeah.
So, you know, people need to take, because I never knew a lot of this before I started working with my day job at Green Innovation Group and also other organizations that are protecting the oceans. So yeah, the 3 Ps are important. And
they are. We've learned something this morning. The next time people go to the toilet, they're going to think about the 3 Ps. I'm quite sure of that. Sunny says, sorry, one of my campaign projects, Crowd Estate, are the Queen. MMO is the Marine Management Organisation. I'm trying to campaign against toxic dump sites and so hard to tackle. I hope that's been of some help there. Obviously, going on from the waste you're talking about, big problem is plastic pollution, which you haven't mentioned yet. But I mean, that's really in the public consciousness now, isn't it? The plastic pollution in the oceans. That really must stop, says Doug.
It is, because if you look at it, it's just, you can see a lot. I mean, you don't see it so much in Portugal. You see it on being stranded to shore, especially in I don't know so much about the Algarve, but this region, you walk along the beach and you can pick up tons of plastic, from mainly plastic bottles. And that's the easiest thing, is just to go single-use plastic. Just carry one of these around with you. Carry, you know, some kind of reusable bottle. You know, it's okay buying it's still not great, but the big bottles of water, of course, that's different. But these tiny bottles of water that we use and we just throw away, it's just.
I think we'll look back on these times, won't we, as utter madness that we did that. And you know, what we haven't mentioned, I suppose, is the system and money. It's so much about economics, isn't it? And that's why, you know, we're going back to the earlier mention of angry fishermen. You know, on the one hand, it's pretty grim what some people are doing, and you know, that specific case. Again, I think you said before, you know, you're it's not like you're against fishing or fishermen, but obviously certain sort of outrageous acts of violence are grim. And on another level, you can kind of understand it that these folks feel threatened to their core because it's about their livelihood, and that's the sea we're all swimming in, if I may use that analogy. You know, we're all trying to make a living, aren't we? And when we fear we might starve or not be able to look after our families, things can get a bit crazy. So, and you know, so we do. I think we need some system change. But that's my little hobby horse that I'm shoehorning in there. Another aspect of awareness raising around the oceans at the moment, obviously, is animals kept in captivity. Ty is asking, what's your opinion on SeaWorld? Are they listening? Are they changing their ways? It would appear so, Chris. What's your view on that?
No, fortunately they're not. Sorry, no.
Oh, okay. All right.
So France have just banned all live animal captivity shows, which is amazing, and everyone should follow suit of France, definitely. We have Zoomarine. My family, when people come over to visit, they actually go to Zoomarine. I'm like, please don't. But you know, it's a really difficult one, and we will eventually, as we grow, start petitioning against Zoomarine and animals in captivity, simply because they just can't live in these little tiny ponds. You know, it's crazy. But in Japan and Asia, they are going out. There's many videos and just basically stealing baby dolphins and baby killer whales to take to these parks, and it can't continue. You know, they don't have a long lifespan as it is, and then being in captivity in these 4 walls almost. There's a lot of great movies to watch. One, The Cove, if you can get to watch it, and it really is an eye opener. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, amazing! What a time we're living in. But again, you know, there is. I think. Are you positive? Are you optimistic? Because I mean, here we are. You know, we're first thing in the morning. We're seeing all that's wrong with the situation, and that's quite right. I mean, I don't think we should shy away from that. But generally speaking, are you positive and optimistic about what we can do and what is going on?
Yeah, mainly because my day job at Green Innovation Group, what we do is connect green technologies, green innovations with investors and clients. So that's a Danish-based company. We've got an office in Lisbon. My daily job is to find these different innovations, these different startups and SMEs that can tackle the sustainable development goals. So meaning waste, water, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Even something simple as, you know, new plastics for telephones and so on and so on. So on a daily basis, I'm seeing these great innovations that are positive for the world.
Yeah, and that's keeping you sane.
It's keeping me sane because you know I get videos sent to me of slaughter of marine life and crazy stuff, and that really gets you down. But then in my day job, I get to see these innovations. But ultimately, we can create and we can be innovative and make all these amazing technologies. But ultimately, it's down to the human race that needs to be educated as well. So that is coming more. We are getting more education programs. There's more initiatives. People are being more aware. So I am positive, yeah, and we can make a change. It just needs to be made soon because, yeah, there's many other things we could talk about, like shark finning. We have a campaign to stop the trade. 250 million sharks are being killed per year just for their fins. People are scared of sharks. We have this stigmata with jaws and so on.
Yes.
More people die of coconuts falling on their head. More people die of vending machines falling on them. More people die of lightning strikes on golf courses than shark attacks. You know, really? It's crazy. I've dived in many destinations worldwide. I've been very close to sharks. Amazing creatures. They're just a little bit inquisitive, but more, you know, they're not really bothered by us. So this stigmata is not right. But ultimately, to kill a shark for its fin, which has no nutritional value, no taste, it's used for status in Asia, and also for some kind of supplements which aren't scientifically proven to be beneficial. So we're also doing a campaign which you can see on our website. It's a European initiative. Portugal needs 15,000 votes to get our quota. We're doing not so well. We're on about 2,000 votes right now. Unfortunately, this is European, and the UK aren't involved because of the recent transition, let's call it. But there will be some initiatives that I will share for the UK as well, because I'm working with the embassy here in Portugal as well, and we're going to do some talks with the British embassy. So, and of course, being British myself, I know a lot of expats, and a lot of people say, Chris, I can't sign a petition because, and I'm like, yeah, I couldn't even sign it. You know, I'm not a dual nationality yet. So yeah, any Portuguese out there or any other nationalities, please sign the initiative.
Okay, and watch this space for what you can do if you're a Brit expat or a Brexpat, as they're fast becoming known. Yes, we've got a comment from Pete in Castellano de Pera this morning. We need Chris to start a land-based forest shepherd here in Portugal to help save the indigenous trees and landscape. I'm guessing what your answer might be there, Pete. You're quite, Chris, is you're quite busy, and we need Pete to start forest shepherd.
Amazing idea. But Pete, please ping me a message. I work with a lot of forestry initiatives. I've just met a British Brazilian, a great mix there. His name is Matt Portman. He's doing a lot in the Amazon with the indigenous tribes and with the forests, and a lot of philanthropy work is going on there. And there is a few people doing, I think it's called I can't even say it.
Rewilding projects.
That one, thank you. Yeah. And there's a lot of that going on in the north. And there's an investor that's working with us as well from Norway named Frederick Mowinkle, who's working a lot on that. So I will be happy to connect you with a few of these people, Peter, and maybe you can get involved in some way.
What's the best way to do that, Chris? Whilst we're talking about getting in touch,
LinkedIn would probably be better, because Facebook I'm not so much on. Okay, just find me on LinkedIn. I think it's under Chris Storey. I can send. Is it better to send?
What I'll do is, we can sort that out later, can't we? But Storey is the second name, Storey. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, I'm putting that in the comments so people can search you out on LinkedIn. Sean, I'm more concerned about plastic waste than I am about climate change, said Doug. That's an understandable sentiment, isn't it? Bon dia, my dear, says Sean, who's just in Chestnut time again. Just picked another bringing us back down to earth with a nice bit of rural snapshot of Portugal there. Will said, so basically, everyone on the planet who can manage should cut their fish intake by 80% or more. Would you agree there?
Totally. So you mentioned earlier, before you introduced us, Portugal is actually the second highest consumer of fish in Europe.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. And high up there in the world as well. You know, we are a vegan organization, so on our vessels we only serve vegan food because we have to practice what we preach. Here's some stats for you, if I'm correct. Okay, what is it now? Cats eat more fish than pelicans. Pigs eat more fish than sea lions, and so on. Why? Because now we're so much overfishing, we're using fish bait as animal feed. And so I initially stopped eating fish and only ate partially meat, part plant-based. But then I was kind of contradicting myself because most of the animals I eat actually eat fish. I'm not a full-on vegan, I'll be completely honest with you, or vegetarian. I am flexitarian, I think they call it. It's due to my daughter's dietary needs mainly as well. That's a good excuse, but it is that. But I probably eat 4 to 5 days a week plant-based, and the rest I'll mix with meat. That's my personal opinion, and I'm not preaching to anybody to say that you should be vegan or vegetarian. That's everybody's individual choice. But if each person could cut down just a little bit. Let's say one day, or even better, 2 days a week, have a meatless Monday and whatever. That would be a huge difference to the world, not just for the ocean, but for climate change. Because we don't realize, again, comes down to awareness, is that we don't realize for the meat industry, the amount of water you need, the amount of agriculture you need, and so on and so on and so on. It really makes a big impact. Coming into a fashion now is insects. I'm not asking anyone to eat insects, but you know, they even make them into crackers now, and they don't even taste like insects. They have more omega-3 than salmon. They take a lot more land than cattle, and they have super benefits of insects. But I've tried a few of the crackers, and I'm not a fan, to be honest with you. But that is the way that a lot of people are going.
Well, sky prawns, eat sky prawns. That's what they're called, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. But again, going back to like vegan and vegetarianism, it's actually, I eat more now plant-based burgers than I do beef burgers, and the ones that they make with black beans and beetroot and so on and caramelized onions are absolutely gorgeous. I make my own in-home little pates now from, you know, really random ingredients. But the good thing in Lisbon now, we have an abundance of amazing vegan restaurants that are very affordable as well. And they give you a good insight on how you can actually take them ingredients and make this food at home as well. So it's not boring. It's not eating like a rabbit. I used to think that as well. It's honestly just experimenting and seeing what you like and what you don't like. But there is definitely some dishes there that could take out meat from your diet. Also, it's going to be a health benefit, because if you think about the plastics that are in our fish,
yes,
the chemicals that are in our meat. You know, if you go to a bio shop and you look at a chicken leg, it's quite small. You go to Pingo Dois and it's like this huge meaty
a dinosaur.
Yeah, it's
T-Rex leg. Yeah,
it's obviously from chemicals, right? To enhance that and so on. So there's a lot of benefits from cutting down meat and having a plant-based diet into your diet. Sure.
I love your take on that, Chris. I really do. You know, you're not preaching. It's not. The problem is the names, isn't it? Because I think, you know, what you've articulated there is the need that we could rise to the occasion and help out by changing our lifestyle a little bit. And you know, for me, you've hit the nail on the head there. You don't have to stop and sort of make some kind of big virtue signaling statement about this is what I am and this is my ideology. It's like, well, if we do this, you know, it's just maths, really, isn't it? If you eat meat once a week, you've got 7 times longer over time, haven't you? If we start having feast days again, where people who love their meat or their fish, if they eat it at the weekend, and the other part of it, of course, is people finding creative and imaginative and delicious ways to eat a plant-based diet during the week, that would change the world in the most amazing way, wouldn't it? It would be quite incredible. And there wouldn't be this battle of, like, you know, vegans versus vegetarians versus cod botherers versus carnivores versus flexitarians, etc., etc. So I think that's really wonderful how you've put that. So thank you for that. That's a good reminder.
My pleasure. No, it's true, and it's a health benefit as well. It's not just
it's
a real balance. It's one for the earth and for the future generations, and one for your own pay. I feel so much lighter and clearer thoughts without, you know, overeating. Because I was the same. I used to go to these beef houses. What do you call them? You know what I mean?
Yeah, carvery or whatever.
Yeah, the typical Brazilian ones. I love them.
Yeah.
But you come out and you'd just be super full, and I don't think it's healthy. I think
waddling my way back to the car park from. Right. Bon dia from Jeff. Good morning to you, Jeff. Great to have your company last night on the Wine Club. Jeff introduced us to, this might go nicely with a vegan meal or changes in eating habits. Some herbal botanical drinks that weren't alcohol based, but still gave you a bit of a buzz from a herbal point of view. So interested to hear more about that, Jeff. All completely legal, I have to add. Did a beach clean on a beach south of Storey. All plastic, says Jeff. I don't know, he finds the time. View on why Portuguese orcas were attacking boats in the Med last month. Behavioural or hungry? What do you think about that, Chris?
Yeah, very good question, Will. Giving us some good ones there. We're looking into that. There's a huge debate, and I hope people don't react to it thinking it's attacking. It's a really strange one. So people said, have they had enough? Are they hungry? Is it a behavioral thing? We don't know. Is it breeding grounds? We are really looking into it. So we're very lucky to have a scientific team here. all over Sea Shepherd, but here in Portugal, we have a lot of marine biologists that have applied to volunteer with us. And so we have the specific team working on that. But yeah, please, I can't answer it completely, to be honest with you, because I don't know.
He will have a view on that for sure, and I suspect he'll be one of the people who get in touch with you via LinkedIn. This is a bit of an elephant in the room, of course. Being in Portugal here, feel a bit reluctant to talk about this. You know, we're glad to be in Portugal, but I think this question needs to be asked: what is the state of cod? Because a few years ago they were in serious trouble, and of course, you know, bacalhau, the whole kind of cod thing. What's your view on that? Where are we with cod stocks? And again, I guess it's asking for a cut in consumption. But what's the background on that at the moment, Chris?
I honestly don't know. In fish stocks in general are depleting, especially tuna. But yeah, especially because it's just overfishing. We're just totally killing it, and it's not giving it time to regenerate.
Yeah.
There's an island somewhere in the Pacific that they used to leave the ocean alone for 10 years. And if anybody did fish, they would kill them as a tribal movement. And I had a talk with Captain Paul Watson, our founder, talking that that's something we can do. There are people now, there's dead zones in the oceans now. I don't know if you know about that as well. So no fish in the dead zones. They're starting to do blue zones where it's protected areas, and they're making a lot more blue zones worldwide, which is totally needed for the fish in general and all different life to regenerate. But yeah, I really don't know about the codfish situation, to be honest. But I imagine
it's self-evident from what you say, and this comment here, Doug says the Portuguese would starve without fish. I'm sure, you know, it's such an important part of Portuguese culture. It's in the heart of the Portuguese person, isn't the bacalhau culture and tradition, and I'm sure it comes down to the amount of consumption. I don't think it's helpful ever to say people should stop doing things. It tends to bring out the worst reactions in people, doesn't it? But like moderation and consideration are the ways forward, in my view. We've helped a couple of people be very happy over there in the UK. Smug Vegans over here with Henry Jeffries. Yes, all right. And dead fly biscuits. We're not advocating dead fly biscuits, and there's going to have to be a better marketing PR approach than calling them dead fly biscuits. Although, you know, that is taking it straight to the man. And Sean was just basically putting in a plug for chestnuts earlier on. We do have, of course, thank you, Sean, for that. Eat chestnuts is his message. Doterra is a great vegan restaurant chain. Great one. I was at recently. My meaty friends were amazed, and that's the thing to do, isn't it? If anyone is a little bit reluctant, take him to somewhere great and show him what's possible. I think we love and live off curry, which basically unites the world. Burger and pizza night tonight, though. Says Sunny and Henry. 3 Spirit Britannicals. Had a great night with you last night. Very interesting experience without alcohol. It must have been, you know, it's terrible hanging out with drunks, though, that said, isn't it? So I'm glad it was okay for you. Cheap tuna prices continue dropping despite Fukushima. They must be taking a big hit from big fishing. Neil, we generally have a meat weekend. Weekdays, veggie and fish once or twice, so not 100%. So this is the sort of thing we're talking about, Chris, isn't it? But we're on the right road. We found it's about getting the ingredients on hand in the house and building up some favorite menus. Then it becomes easier to eat vegetarian. It takes time. Fantastic. Gary, plenty of good land out here to farm. Yes, absolutely. There's something about Portugal, right? You could have an endless supply of veggies if you know what you're doing and talk to your neighbours. You see 80-year-olds bent over double, don't you, working in the fields all year round growing vegetables. Chris, I know you've got other things to do. It's been so great having you. How do people get involved? I guess, do you want a closing message or thought, and then how people can get in touch with Sea Shepherd?
Yeah, totally. So basically, right now in Portugal, we have the campaigns that were mentioned. We also have the Ghost Net campaign, which is diving with a bunch of divers. We have a rib. We have tech divers and all different types of levels of divers. So we're starting in Sesimbra Setúbal, doing a lot of dives, cleaning ghost nets. But beach cleanups is the one where, you know, everybody can get involved. So just keep an eye on our Facebook page when we advertise them. Just apply and join. So Facebook and Instagram are the usual updates on what we're doing. And there's often like application documents that you can apply to join us. Right now with COVID, we're keeping it down to 15, 20 people, just for, you know, safety measures and keeping distance and so on. But upcoming, there'll be a lot of that as well. Monthly, there'll be at least one beach cleanup in a different destination. But also, if if you want to, if you have something to offer and that can enchant us as well, or just want to help out, we do have a volunteer application on the website. That is taking a bit long to get back to everyone, as we've been quite overwhelmed with the applications. But when we do have things going on, we will reach out to you. There'll also be a newsletter as well. So when you sign up to volunteer, you can get the newsletter. Events. So we're going to be at a lot of events. Planeteers, which is a great sustainability event coming up in the end of this month. It's kind of the sustainability event of Web Summit, let's call it. And then you can buy our merchandise. We have a lot of cool merchandise.
Hold on a minute. Let me just zoom in on you for that. Let's just model that for us again. Oh, look at that.
With the nice logo. But we have the logo with the whale as well, all organically made. So all the t-shirts, hoodies, face masks, hats are all completely sustainably sourced and sustainably made. We have the donation button as well. So if you'd like to donate, you get a certificate and so showing that you support Sea Shepherd. We're doing a fundraiser on the 7th of November, which will have a lot of musicians, Irish musicians, punk, jazz, blues, really eclectic styles.
Sounds great.
Yeah, that's on the 7th of November. Keep your eye on Facebook. There'll be a sign up for that. It's free, of course. And what we're doing, I'm actually performing on that as well, so you can get to see me sing if you want.
Oh, you do that as well?
Yeah. I'm actually a musician. So for 10 years in the Algarve, I worked all around the hotels as a singer, Frank Sinatra and stuff, believe it or not.
Really? Well, okay.
Yeah. I was a Robbie Williams tribute. Maybe some people know me from various venues being a Robbie Williams tribute. Obviously, without back in the day when I was younger. And so this will have Captain Paul Watson and our CEO, Captain Alex Corneliuson, talking at this event as well on the 7th of November. We're starting also coming soon as well a Paddle for Plastic campaign. So we have these amazing kayaks made from recycled plastic, and we're going to go into the rivers, starting in the Tejo and Lisbon, to collect plastic by kayaking around, which is also a fun way of...
What a brilliant idea.
So there's a lot coming up, and if you look on our Facebook and sign up to our volunteer form, you'll get the newsletters, and you can see on Facebook on what we're doing in a town review.
That's Chris, and obviously getting involved in the north to south. Portugal is defined by its Atlantic frontage, isn't it? And when I first saw that was one of the things I've got to talk to this guy. Your ambitious plan to clean the beaches from top to bottom, from bottom to top. That's a very ambitious plan, but God knows we've got enough people to do it, haven't we? It's very possible, given the right awareness raising and people committing to doing it.
I've been overwhelmed by the applications. Naturally, I can't handle it myself, and we are growing. We have a lovely young lady looking after that now. But because I also have another NGO, I think I mentioned to you, called Ghost Network, where we are collecting ghost nets from fishermen, working with the municipality of Setúbal and the fisheries. And we're turning ghost nets into, do I have a pair here? We turn ghost nets into sunglasses. We even made litter pickers from ghost nets. We made, the kayaks can also be made from, I don't have them with me, but we make beautiful sunglasses, diving fins. You can make so much things from our waste as well. So this is another good thing, that we can make a circular economy from our waste, from the beach cleanups, there's so many initiatives doing awesome products now from our waste, which is really cool. So that's a positive.
Absolutely. And that's what I wanted to say finally. I mean, it's been very depressing talking to you in some ways, but ultimately really inspiring. I mean, that's what it's about, in it being a human being, is like, facing up to the whole picture. And we've got some work to do, clearly. And you're providing the framework and the inspiration for people to do that. So thank you so much for being here this morning. Really love talking to you.
No, absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's been really cool.
Amazing. And I wanted to add as well, my kids watch like superhero cartoons and stuff on the telly. And when I look at Sea Shepherd, I see your team there, and with the merchandise you're talking about, and I'm thinking, you guys are real life, superheroes doing what you're doing, and there should be action figures. Look at you there. You got yourself. Is it Guiga and Naka? These people in those lovely the merchandise you've got there. You could have action figures of you guys saving the oceans there. Quite incredible. Fantastic to talk to you. Have a great day, mate.
Thank you so much. Real pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, take care and bye for now. How wonderful is that? Chris Storey there of Sea Shepherd. Thank you, everybody, for your comments this morning. I said to Chris, you know, we'll only be on till 9:30, but you've done it again, taking us through to 9:45. Join us tonight for the Expat Man Cave. I'm hoping Chris will come and maybe do a couple of Frank Sinatra numbers on that one, though. That'd be incredible. He's absolutely right, a candidate for the Expat Man Cave. I'm sure he could tell us a story or two as well from his amazing life there. So thank you so much. Join us tonight, and we'll see you again on Monday if the Expat Man Cave isn't for you. Até próxima. Até já. I didn't ask Chris how his Portuguese was going, and maybe he's glad of that. But yeah, beijinhos, abraços, ciao, ciao. Take care. Bye for now.